Hey YouTube, I really did not want to make this video because I feel like we should not be that invested in this situation. But nevertheless, I'm going to make this video because I see certain people using this false story as a way to distract the public from their own bullshit. Okay. Yes, I'm talking about Nicki Minaj. Yes, I'm talking about DJ Academics. Yes, I'm talking about 50 Cent. These people have their own fucking court cases and their own bullshit that's going on right now that they're trying to distract the public from. So they are pushing these false headlines and these false stories as a way to basically slander Jay-Z while hiding their own bullshit, behind closed doors. I will get on Pink Wig's botched ass in another video, probably if I feel like it. But for now, I am going to go ahead and talk about the whole Jay-Z Rymir situation because there is so much misinformation that's being spread right now. So there have been different blog sites, hip hop blogs, and media outlets reporting that Jay-Z was ordered to take a paternity test for Rymir on July 18th. These headlines were pushed by 50 Cent, DJ Academics, Nicki Minaj, and others. Again, I feel as a way to distract the public from their own bullshit. For those of you who don't know, Nicki Minaj's sex offender husband is being sued by his rape victim because Nicki Minaj and Kenneth, according to the lawsuit, harassed this woman. Okay, Nicki Minaj was trying to get Kenneth off of the sex offender registry, so she reached out to Jennifer, which is the victim, to try to get her to recant her story. Okay, according to the lawsuit that Jennifer has against Kenneth Petty, Nicki Minaj is listed heavily throughout that lawsuit, saying that she used her celebrity status, she used her own associates, she used lawyers to harass Jennifer, send people to Jennifer's house, contacting Jennifer's family, trying to offer and bribe Jennifer money to recant her story so that her husband can look like he was vindicated and taken off the sex offender registry to make Nicki look better, because Nicki chose to marry a man who was a rapist. And I want to clear this up as well. According to Jennifer's affidavit, her statements have never changed. Jennifer has said for these years, 30 years straight, that Kenneth raped her at knife point. He didn't attempt rape, he didn't molest, he didn't assault. He actually raped her. And Kenneth took a plea deal for a lesser charge to get less time in jail. Okay? That man raped her, according to Jennifer. It wasn't attempted rape. He actually did that shit. Kenneth also killed somebody. This is the man that Nicki Minaj chose to marry, and she got embarrassed when Kenneth was arrested for not registering as a sex offender when he moved into Nicki's house in LA. So Nicki was embarrassed by that situation because everybody was dragging her. So she went on a campaign to try to make Jennifer look like a liar. She lied and said that Jennifer was white. She lied and said that Jennifer was much older than him. She lied and said that Jennifer recanted her story. This is false. Jennifer has never recanted her story. I know y'all see a lot of documents that were falsified and forged. I know that y'all see videos that were edited, but Jennifer has kept the same story for years. She is adamant that that man raped her. She never changed her story. And she is suing him for harassment. And we all know he's broke. And Nicki is likely broke too. But Nicki is the one that's likely going to be paying Jennifer, because they're having a settlement meeting on July 31st. So while Nicki is out here trying to talk about court cases and talking about other people's court cases, she has her own court case. Her husband has his own court case. The next update is going to be July 31st. And this is what she's trying to distract everyone from. DJ Academics has also been accused of rape. There's a lawsuit against him for sexual assault that he's going through right now. So I find it funny how these people are trying to bring up other people's lawsuits and bring up other people's situations. Meanwhile, they have their own shit going on. That's why I say these people are fake. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them were the ones paying these blogs to post these headlines. Like I said, I may or may not get in on Onika in another video. I'm waiting. I think I'm going to wait to see what happens after July 31st. But so stay tuned on that. All right, back to the whole Jay-Z Rymir situation, okay? So like I said, these people were pushing headlines that Jay-Z was ordered by a judge to take a paternity test for Rymir. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Rymir is a 32-year-old grown ass man. Okay. So people saw headlines stating that Jay-Z was ordered to take this paternity test without using any common sense, without using any critical thinking, without actually reading into the situation. Because ask yourself, what court would force a grown-ass man to take a paternity test for another grown-ass man? This man is 32 years old. Why would a court force Jay-Z to take a paternity test for him? On what grounds? And in what world is a grown-ass man required to take a paternity test for another grown-ass man just because the grown-ass man asked for it? Be fucking for real. But again, let me stay focused. This is what's really happening for those of you who want the truth, okay? And I'm just going to give you a little bit of backstory. So this dude named Rymir, he has been trying to go after Jay-Z for years. He's claiming that he doesn't want money from Jay-Z. He's claiming he just wants to know the truth. Because Rymir's mother, her name is Wanda. She's now deceased. Rest in peace to her. For the first 16 years of Rymir's life, Wanda pursued another man for paternity. Okay? Wanda already named another man as Rymir's father. And for 16 years, she was in Pennsylvania court going after that man for child support. Okay? This happened in Pennsylvania courts, okay? So it's documented that she did not pursue Jay-Z. She was not pursuing Jay-Z. She was pursuing another man for 16 years for child support in Pennsylvania courts. And then that man ended up asking for a DNA test. Okay? Once they got the DNA test done, again, the man asked for the DNA test, not Wanda. Once the results came back, it was proven that this man that she pursued for 16 years for child support, it was proven that he was not the biological father of Rymir. Okay? So that was out the window. Then she turns around and says that Jay-Z is actually the biological father of her son. And this is what she's claiming. It's in her court affidavit, okay? She claims that when she was about 15 years old, she and her friend went to this apartment. They didn't know whose apartment it was. So she said that they went to this apartment and they met these dudes, okay? And the dude that she met, his name was Rock. And she's saying that it's in her affidavit. Y'all can go look this up in court, okay? So yes, she says she was 15 at the time, according to her affidavit. But she admitted in the affidavit that she lied to this dude named Rock and told him that she was 18. Okay? Let me repeat that. She was 15 years old, but she lied to Rock and told him she was 18. So this dude named Rock, in this alleged situation, thought that she was an adult because she told him she was 18. Again, this is in her sworn court affidavit. These are Wanda's own words. So she claims that her and Rock had a one-night stand and she never saw him again after that. Let me repeat that. Her and Rock only met one time. They only slept together one time. Okay? According to her affidavit. They did not have a relationship. They did not meet up multiple times. Nothing like that. According to her own affidavit, it was a spur of the moment, one time thing where she slept with this stranger that she didn't know at 15 years old and told him that she was 18. Okay? So she's claiming that at the time, she did not know that Rock was supposedly Jay-Z. She said that this happened in the 90s, before Jay-Z was a celebrity, before he was famous, before he was a rapper. She did not know, according to her affidavit, that this dude named Rock was Jay-Z. So, like I said, after she pursued this other man, After she pursued this other man for her son's child support for 16 years, and once the dude asked for a paternity test, and it proved that the dude was not even the father, that's when she stopped pursuing him, and that's when she turned around and said, Jay-Z is my son's father. Okay? So listen carefully. She told her son, this dude right here, that Jay-Z is his biological father. So Wanda went back to Pennsylvania courts. And like I said, she submitted this affidavit. Y'all can go look it up. It's public record. She tried to get the Pennsylvania courts to go after Jay-Z for a paternity test and for child support. Well, I don't know for child support, but I know she tried to at least get a paternity test. The Pennsylvania courts denied her request because they saw that for 16 years, she was pursuing another man. So based off of the court's logic, they're saying, why would we make another man obligated to take a paternity test for you when you were just in our courts over the past 16 years saying that another man was the father? So her request was denied. Okay. So because the Pennsylvania courts denied her request, Wanda then tried to get Jay-Z in New Jersey courts. And the New Jersey courts denied her request for paternity because Jay-Z did not reside in New Jersey. So that New Jersey case got thrown out due to lack of jurisdiction. Jay-Z, according to his lawyers, did not live in New Jersey. So they didn't have any jurisdiction to go after him for a paternity test. And it stopped there because unfortunately Wanda passed away. So ever since then, Rymir and his guardian, I guess that his godmother, we don't know who his guardian is. They're saying that the guardian is the godmother. So, this is what happened, okay? So mind y'all, the New Jersey case was closed due to lack of jurisdiction. But Rymir and his godmother came back and said Jay-Z used fraud to get out of that case because they're saying that Jay-Z owned property in New Jersey. So there should have been jurisdiction. But according to legal experts and lawyers who have reviewed the case, they're stating that just because someone owns property in a state does not mean that they reside there. Jay-Z's lawyers told the courts that he did not live in New Jersey. Therefore, there was lack of jurisdiction. They couldn't go after them. But Rymir and his godmother thinks that because Jay-Z owned a property in New Jersey, that means that he should have been liable to take a paternity test. And I want to make this clear as well. And this is what the legal experts are saying. This is what the lawyers are saying. Rymir and his guardian have been filing these cases without a lawyer, without legal counsel or legal advice. They're claiming that Rymir's godmother has like a PhD. But just because you have a PhD, it doesn't mean you know the law. According to lawyers, just because you own a property in a state, that does not mean you reside there. So the New Jersey courts was correct in their ruling that there was no jurisdiction. Okay. So now what Rymir is doing, let's fast forward to now, because let me explain something to you. After that New Jersey case was thrown out, because Rymir and his godmother tried to redo it, it was thrown out again. They then tried to sue Jay-Z multiple times in New Jersey. So after the ruling to have the case thrown out was confirmed by the court, Rymir and his godmother kept filing cases against Jay-Z in New Jersey anyway. Okay? And at that point, Jay-Z's and his lawyers said that this is basically harassment. And I guess they filed an injunction against Rymir to where he's not allowed to file a case against Jay-Z in New Jersey again. And he was granted it because, again, Rymir disregarded the ruling by the court and he kept filing cases against Jay-Z in New Jersey anyway. He was wasting the court's time. He was wasting Jay-Z's time. He was wasting everybody's time. So Jay-Z filed an injunction and he was granted it that Rymir cannot pursue Jay-Z in New Jersey. He cannot file a case against Jay-Z in New Jersey. Okay? So, because Rymir can no longer go against Jay-Z in New Jersey, what Rymir has been doing for the past 10 years, 10 to 15 years, him and his guardian has been going to different states trying to sue Jay-Z in different states. Look it up. They disregarded the Pennsylvania ruling. They disregarded the New Jersey ruling. He can't file a case against Jay-Z in New Jersey anymore. So Rymir has been going to different states trying to sue Jay-Z. And let me again reiterate the fact that Rymir does not have a lawyer. He is filing these suits pro se, without any legal advice, without any legal counsel. He is filing these cases himself. A lawyer is not picking up his case and giving him sound legal advice. So as of 2025, where these headlines are saying that, oh, and let me make this clear as well. In these cases where Rymir is suing Jay-Z in these different states, and every last one of them has been dismissed by the court. Every last one of them has been thrown out by the court. He's been doing this for 10 to 15 years. He'll file these cases without a lawyer. The case will get dismissed, and then Rymir will just go file another one. And let me make this very clear. Rymir, in these cases, he is not requesting a paternity test against Jay-Z. So when you see these headlines saying that, oh, Rymir is trying to get Jay-Z to take a paternity test and a judge ordered Jay-Z to take a paternity test, this is a lie. Jay-Z has never been ordered by any court to take a paternity test for Rymir. Not only that, but if you look at Rymir's complaints against Jay-Z, he never once asked Jay-Z to take paternity tests, ever. Rymir is telling the public one thing, but he's doing another thing in the courts. He's telling the public that, oh, I don't want money. I just want to know the truth. I just want to know who my dad is. That's what he's telling the public. But if you look at Rymir's court filings, please screenshot this and read it slowly. Rymir is not asking Jay-Z for a paternity test. He is asking Jay-Z for money and money only. He is alleging that Jay-Z and the judges and the other legal experts committed fraud against him. They're saying that Rymir is saying that these judges and Jay-Z and these legal experts committed fraud against him. He's also saying that they intentionally caused emotional distress against him, and all this other stuff. He is asking for money, not a paternity test. He's asking for money. But he's going to social media and all these different media outlets that will take him and telling the public that he doesn't want money. He just wants a paternity test. He wants to know who his father is. He's doing one thing in the public and he's doing another thing in court. And that's no different. That's no different with the lawsuit in 2025. Rymir has basically made a career off of harassing and stalking Jay-Z. My thing is this. Oh, did I cover everything? So I just wanted to make it clear to y'all that the lawsuit right now that Rymir has against Jay-Z, number one, he filed this lawsuit without a lawyer, without any legal experts. He's representing himself. It's important to note that Rymir is not educated, according to legal experts. He has no real understanding of the law, because if he did, he would have understood that you cannot sue somebody for winning a case against you. You went after Jay-Z in New Jersey. And Jay-Z used the courts to defend himself against you, and the courts ruled in his favor. You cannot sue somebody for that. It's called the anti-SLAPP law that Jay-Z's lawyers included in their motion to dismiss. But let me make sure I'm staying on track, okay? So again, Rymir has been going after Jay-Z for years, filing these cases on his own behalf, and every last one of them has been getting denied. And because he can't sue Jay-Z in New Jersey anymore, he has been trying to sue Jay-Z in different states that Rymir doesn't even live in. Number two, Rymir is a grown 32-year-old man. There is no court that is going to grant Rymir a paternity test as a grown-ass man. Number three, Jay-Z was never ordered by any court, past or present, to take a paternity test for Rymir. That never happened. That is a lie being pushed by Nicki Minaj and her barbs. That never happened. But In Jay-Z's response to, so yeah, the headlines were saying that Jay-Z was ordered to take a paternity test on July 18th. That's not true. That's a lie. What really happened was Rymir filed that complaint against Jay-Z. Jay-Z told the courts, look, this man has been harassing me for decades and I'm busy and I need time for my lawyers to review this. So we need an extension. So Jay-Z was granted an extension to reply to Rymir by July 18th. Again, let me reiterate. This is what Rymir is requesting in the lawsuit. He is not asking for a paternity test or anything like that. He is explicitly asking for money and money only. Okay? So he was never requesting a paternity test, and the court never ordered Jay-Z to take paternity test. What really happened was Rymir filed the lawsuit. Jay-Z said, look, this man been harassing me. I need an extension for my lawyers to review all of this so we can make a response. So the response date was July 18th. Okay? Jay-Z's team went back and replied July 18th to the complaint. And this time, of course, they are asking for a motion to dismiss on several counts. And according to lawyers, all of the counts and reasons for dismissal that Jay-Z's team put in the motion to dismiss were very valid. Number one, the anti-SLAPP law, like I told you. Rymir is trying to sue Jay-Z because of that New Jersey case that was ruled in Jay-Z's favor. Again, you cannot sue somebody because they won a court case against you. That's crazy. Y'all both went through the courts. Y'all both submitted y'all evidence and the court ruled in Jay-Z's favor. You cannot sue him because the court ruled in his favor. Number two, a lot of the stuff that Rymir is alleging has exceeded the statute of limitations. Rymir is accusing Jay-Z of intentionally causing emotional distress and all this other shit and saying that he's depressed and, you know, all this other shit. The according to lawyers that reviewed the case, the shit that he's claiming, the statute of limitations expired. Okay? And then on top of that, Rymir did not provide any evidence in his lawsuit that any of what he's saying was true. He did not explain how losing the case against Jay-Z caused him emotional distress. He never explained that in the lawsuit. And again, y'all, I have to keep telling y'all, he filed this case without a lawyer. He filed this case without any legal expertise, and he's uneducated. So this is another baseless lawsuit. And it's like, why is he allowed to just keep doing this over and over again? How is this not harassment? So in Jay-Z's motion to dismiss, the lawyers basically said he has no case. He has not provided any evidence that Jay-Z or any lawyers or judges fraudulently ruled against him. He did not provide any evidence or explanation as to how the ruling caused him emotional distress. This case is going nowhere. This case is going absolutely nowhere. And I think Rymir knows that. And the fact that Rymir is not asking for a paternity test, but he's going on social media lying and saying he asked for a paternity test is crazy, because he knows that he cannot get a paternity test from another grown-ass man as a grown-ass man. He knows there's no law requiring a grown-ass man to take a paternity test for another grown-ass man. He knows this. He didn't put that in the lawsuit. But he's going on social media lying to everybody, saying that he's asking Jay-Z for paternity tests and he don't really want money. And that's a fucking lie. Because in his court dockets, it shows he's not asking for a paternity test at all. He's just simply asking for money. And he knows this case is going to get dismissed just like the 10, 15, 20 other ones. Rymir has been stalking Jay-Z and harassing him for 10 to 15 years. He is doing this constantly. Going to courts, filing cases, they get dismissed. Going to courts, filing cases, get dismissed. And when he goes to these courts and files these cases, he then runs to social media and right-wing media outlets to call out Jay-Z. How is this not stalking? How is this not harassment? How is this not slander? He has basically created a career off of suing Jay-Z and losing. He's going to the public crying, saying that he just wants to know who his dad is and all this other bullshit. But then he's going in court, just putting in all types of frivolous shit that he cannot back up with any evidence. He knows it's going to get dismissed. They all get dismissed. How is this not harassment? And I'm just trying to wonder, like, why Jay-Z hasn't countersued him. I mean, Rymir is poor, so it makes sense. You know, what is he going to get out of Rymir if he sues him? He's not going to get any money. But it's getting to a point where I think Jay-Z is fed up. So in his motion to dismiss, under the anti-slap law, you can request for the other party to pay for your lawyer fees. And that's what Jay-Z is doing. And we know that Jay-Z has $1 million lawyers that Rymir cannot afford. Also, I bet y'all are asking, how can a poor person just constantly file cases against somebody in court over all these years? Apparently, there's a lien on Rymir's family's properties because, like I said, the godmother supposedly has a PhD and all this other shit. She's been enabling this behavior as well. Allegedly, there's a lien on Rymir's family's properties to be used as collateral to pay for all of these court cases that are going nowhere. And then I think Rymir may be getting paid by certain bloggers and media outlets to do these interviews about Jay-Z. I also want to make this very clear. Rymir and Jay-Z do not have a relationship. I don't think they've ever actually interacted in person, ever. Rymir lied and said that Jay-Z connected with him at first, but then he stopped. That's a lie. None of Rymir's cases ever stated that Jay-Z and Rymir had a conversation and Jay-Z reached out to Rymir. None of that was ever stated in court. I'm telling y'all, Rymir is going on social media saying one thing and then he's going to the court and saying something else. Another thing, people were asking Rymir, why don't you just go to Ancestry.com and see if you have any familial matches with Jay-Z's family? He has an excuse for everything, y'all. So Rymir is claiming that Jay-Z had his entire family's DNA removed from public records so that Rymir can't do a familiar match with Jay-Z. There's always an excuse. There's always some bullshit. There is no proof whatsoever that Jay-Z had his family's history removed from Ancestry.com. In fact, there are several cousins of Jay-Z's that do have their DNA in the system. So that's another lie. Okay? Rymir also lied and told everybody that he gave Jay-Z his DNA. Like Rymir said that he gave his own DNA to Jay-Z. That's another lie. What happened was, like I told y'all, when his mama was going after that other man for paternity for 16 years, there was a DNA test done. And it proves that the other dude that she was going after was not Rymir's biological father. That's what happened. But Rymir giving Jay-Z his DNA, that never happened. That never happened. There has never been any DNA swap between Rymir and Jay-Z. That is a lie. And none of that is listed in any of the court documents. But he's going on social media saying something else. And for those of you who are saying, well, why don't Jay-Z just take the paternity test to make this go away? Why don't he just, do that to make it go away? And here's my thing. This is the way I'm looking at it, okay? If Jay-Z did not sleep with that girl, if he knows for a fact he did not sleep with that girl, he is under no obligations to take no paternity test. For all we know, like I said, the mama went after somebody else for 16 years. And then he wasn't the father. So why would Jay-Z trust anything that she says? There are no photos of Rymir and Jay-Z's mother together at all. This is the photo that y'all keep spreading, saying that this is Jay-Z and Rymir's mother, and we know that's a lie. This is Rymir's mother. Her name is Wanda. She's a dark-skinned, round-faced woman. This is Rymir's mother. The woman in this photo is brown skin with a long face, a narrow nose, clearly not Rymir's mother. And if y'all read her actual affidavit, you know that there's no pictures of them together because she stated that they had no relationship. They had no friendship. They literally met up once and that was it, according to her affidavit. So there was no them in the studio together. There was them not going on no dates together. They didn't even know each other. according to her affidavit. This was somebody that she just slept with one time and never saw him again in person. I think she said like she called him or at some point there was like a phone call, but never heard from each other ever again. Never saw each other in person ever again. So there are no photos of them together. There are no videos of them together. There's no real proof of them ever interacting. This woman in this photo, they're saying is actually Jay-Z's ex-girlfriend named Hattie. Now, I don't know nothing about Jay-Z's ex-girlfriend named Hattie. I just know that you can't tell me that this brown-skinned woman with this narrow nose and long face is the same woman as this woman right here. Let's be for real. This is Rymir's mother. Dark skin, round face. This is the woman in the photo. Brown skin, longer face with a narrow nose. That's not the same woman. And y'all know damn well that's not the same woman. And this is Wanda, Rymir, and her boyfriend, and I don't know if that's her other baby, right here. Like I said, this woman was claiming another man was the baby daddy of Rymir for 16 years. She was wrong. So for y'all saying, why don't Jay-Z just take a test? And why don't Jay-Z just do this? And why don't Jay-Z do that? And what world do we live in where a man should be obligated to take a paternity test for a woman that there is no proof he ever slept with? Be fucking for real. First of all, she put another man's name on the baby's birth certificate. She went after another man for 16 years for child support. And then she turns around and says that another man is the father after trying to go after somebody else for 16 years. There's no proof that they ever met. There's no photos, videos, audio, nothing. Anything of them no proof of them ever actually meeting. How do we know that this is not just some random obsessed fan who has built a parasocial relationship? Clearly, Rymir has built a parasocial relationship. He thinks that he knows Jay-Z. He has convinced himself that Jay-Z owes him something. And he has gone through life trying to mimic Jay-Z and try to turn himself into Jay-Z. How do we know this is not just some sick, obsessed person who has built a delusional parasocial relationship and he feels like he knows Jay-Z and Jay-Z is obligated to give something to him? At the end of the day, this stuff does happen in real life where people have delusioned themselves into thinking that they have a relationship with a celebrity or that they have had an interaction with a celebrity that have never happened. I just feel like there was no basis for the court to force Jay-Z to get a paternity test because, again, there's no proof they ever even met. And that's just facts. And I feel like Jay-Z should not be obligated to take a paternity test for some fan just because the fan says that you're my dad. How is that not going to open up a floodgate of random fans demanding paternity tests from anybody and going to the courts and going to the media, making money off of lying and saying that they are the child of somebody who they don't even know? That's just my take on it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, Rymir is a grown 32-year-old man. Jay-Z does not owe that man anything, okay? Jay-Z clearly don't want nothing to do with Rymir. Whether Rymir is his son or not, I don't think he's his son. But whether Rymir is Jay-Z's son or not, at this point, you're 32 years old. You're 32 years old. Jay-Z does not want any type of relationship or interaction with you. Jay-Z has the family that he wants. He has the kids that he wants. He's claiming the kids that he wants. And if Jay-Z is your biological father, I know that must be fucked up. But at the end of the day, you're a grown-ass man. And this other grown-ass man wants nothing to do with you. You are not entitled to anything that Jay-Z has built with his family that he wants. You're not entitled to any of that. And people are saying, well, you know, he wants some inheritance. You know, there's an estate law that, you know, that allows biological children to have access to someone's estate. There is also something called disinheritance. Okay. Jay-Z has the right to disinherit any of his children. So even if Rymir is Jay-Z's biological son, which I don't think he is, but even if Jay-Z is Rymir's biological son, Jay-Z has the right to disinherit him. Meaning that if Jay-Z dies, but he creates a will before he dies or a trust, he has the right to write Rymir out of his will. Rymir is not entitled to anything that Jay-Z has built. He's not entitled to anything. He's not entitled to a relationship. He's damn sure not entitled to any money. Rymir is a grown 32-year-old man who needs to go get a real fucking job and move on with his life. Your mama likely lied to you, or she was probably delusional, or even if she is telling the truth, at the end of the day, she went after another man for 16 years. It's her fault. It is what it is. Y'all are not gonna like it. Y'all gonna say I'm gonna Roc Nation's payroll, and I don't like how y'all do that. Y'all will run with false headlines and misinformation and accept that as truth. But when someone pulls up the court documents, when someone uses actual lawyers and journalists as their proof, and they tell you that this shit is not true, this is what's really going on, you accuse us of being paid off by Roc Nation. You accuse us of being on Jay-Z's dick, when all we're really doing is just using logic and reporting the facts. The facts are this: Jay-Z has never been ordered by any court to take paternity test. Rymir is not asking for a paternity test. Rymir is only asking for money. Rymir's mother went after another man for 16 years for child support, claiming that man was the father. Jay-Z has been granted by the courts to have the case thrown out. And because Rymir cannot go after Jay-Z in New Jersey anymore, he has basically been stalking and Jay-Z over these years, filing these court cases that he knows are going to get thrown out. But he goes to social media and he goes to to different media outlets who will willing to listen to him for a check, likely for a check. That's all this is. But again, as I said, I don't think Jay-Z is the father. I don't think he should do a paternity test if he knows for a fact that he did not sleep with that girl. Because why the fuck would he? He's not obligated to. What world do we live in where we're just going to force people to take tests and DNA tests and all this other shit just because of word of mouth? You need to come with some actual receipts that they ever even met. I will probably get on Nicki's ass in another video because I want to expose that bitch. But I'm probably going to do that after this settlement hearing that her husband has on the 31st. So we'll see.